Hiya! Boomers!
To start the Ultimate Training Program in striking, we're going over uppercuts because it's one of my favorite strikes and I think it allows you to be incredibly strategic and crafty. This is not only the coolest strike in Street Fighter 2, this is a strike for people who fight with their brains.
Well, hello there. Why do I love uppercuts? It's an incredibly crafty punch with a lot of uses. Most importantly, I can still hit this dude in the face even if he's fighting appropriately and he has his hands up. I do this by throwing an uppercut straight between his hands. So even if Tom has his elbows reasonably tight together, whoop, I can still sneak that guy in there and I will have a massively successful punch, and then the fight continues. Or maybe doesn't continue, depending on how good my punch is.
Or the follow-up.
Or the follow-up. So here's the first thing that everyone does wrong with their uppercut. They decide that they want to throw maybe a right uppercut to this guy's face, and they go, hee, hee. And I've dropped my hand. Tom so kindly pointed out that he could punch me in the face. But more importantly, I've given away the fact that I'm going to throw an uppercut by dropping my hand. It's a logical reason why people do this, because they want to have as much distance to pick up speed between them and their targets. However, that's not how you get it done. Tom wants me to point out to you that he wouldn't normally have his hand this low. He just wants you to be able to see his face in the camera. So the real way that you need to load up your uppercut is by doing a movement that I call the shoulder pop. Instead of bringing your arm down, you got to bring your entire level down to create additional room for your uppercut to pick up speed and whatnot. So the shoulder pop is a pretty simple movement. What you do is you kind of want to drop one shoulder in so it's in front of your chin and almost like bounce off of it. So you don't want to stay there and freeze and then throw your uppercut. It's like there's like a rubber wall right here and you're bouncing off of it so you have some power in your strike. So to start this uppercut, I'm going to do a shoulder pop forward with my right arm and boom, I'm going to reach my left arm out with my palm up. I pivot my left foot a little bit so that I can use my hip to project my arm forward. And I want to really lift his head up out of his hands. So it's not enough to really pop his head backwards. You want like that lifting motion. One of the things that I do to describe this to people when I'm first teaching them is I kind of like a tennis player serves a ball or like tosses a ball up to himself and smacks it. Well, this uppercut is basically going to serve his head up to my other hand so that I can finish him off with another strike.
This introduces us to the concept of juggling heads. When my boxing coach first introduced me to this stuff, it was like a revelation to me.
So people, when they're fighting or when they're imagining themselves fighting, they don't usually take into consideration the fact that a head moves when you hit it. You ever watch somebody punch a heavy bag? Well, it weighs about 125 pounds. A human head weighs about 8 pounds. It's useful to know.
The lighter something is, the more it's going to move around when you hit it.
If you punch it, it's going to move around and it bounces back and forth, and you can get good at juggling this head. So the most important part of this uppercut is that when I've shoulder popped in and I hit him, I lift his head out of his hands so that I can smack it with more strikes. And ideally, I can keep on bouncing that head up before it ever gets back into his hands. So in this example, I'm going to shoulder pop with my right shoulder, then I'm going to throw a left uppercut and a right straight. So we got pop up straight. Again, pop up straight. Okay, so Tom's head bounces back and I catch it when it's on its way back in. Pop, pop, bow. All right, that's how you want to throw that combo. Now, when you actually get more towards full speed, it's like, pop, bow. All right, and you can really start to fire those things in there. Again, that has a lot to do with repetition and just making yourself really comfortable with the movement.
Don't be in a rush. Start slow and build good habits when you're training stuff like this, because ideally you'll throw these combos a lot of times to make it like part of your muscle memory and just part of your physical movement.
Now we're gonna go over a left shoulder pop, whoop, right uppercut, boom, left hook, bam. Definitely my favorite jab counter.
Remember that one if you can. Bouncing into a 6-3. That one's great for knockouts because it knocks the guy's head in a bunch of different directions.
One more time, we got pop 6-3. One more time, pow, pow, pow. Okay? Don't do that with your arm like I just did, obviously.
I fucking hit you, dog.
I know you would. Obviously, you want to use good hook form, pull it back to your face. All right? That's how it really goes in real life.
Also, a little pivot can't hurt.
On the same side that you're uppercutting, you throw a little pivot at the foot. It's not as much as a hook pivot, but you do want to keep the hip involved, so a little footwork related detail. Nice form, buddy.
Hey, thank you.
You look good.
Well, I have been working out. Clear.
So if you have a training partner, you have an excellent advantage. And one of the best things you can do with your training partner is mitt work on the focus mitts or the tie pads. One of the reasons why I like training with a training partner and with doing mitt work is because I'm actually standing in front of a human being and I'm punching him at the appropriate distancing that I would want to punch a real person. So you just kind of get used to the real relationship you have with somebody positioning wise when you're fighting. So that's a good thing. Also, this guy can angle the mitts to hold specific punches for me, which is really sweet. So if I want to throw an uppercut, I got that. If I want to throw a hook, he holds it sideways. If I want to throw a straight punch, pow, pow. Obviously, we got the straight. Now, applying this combination that we're going over to some mitt work, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little step in with my left foot, and I'm going to shoulder pop with my right shoulder, whoop, and then I'm going to throw my left uppercut, pow. After I've come with my left uppercut, Tom has the option to kind of pop this same mitt up. So if I want to get used to seeing what it looks like for someone's head to actually pop up, boom, Tom pops the mitt up, bam, and I throw my right straight. Now typically, left hand goes to left hand, right hand goes to right hand, so it would look like this. Shoulder pop, boom, bow, bow, opposite hand. A little bit faster, you got shoulder pop, bow, again, one more time.
One more for good measure.
All right, fine. Now, the other side, I still step in, left shoulder drops. I got right uppercut, left hook. Okay? Again, we got bow, bow. Now, if Tom wants to do this in such a way that'll mimic somebody's head popping up and then hooking it, you can do the whole thing with this hand. So, what side was it? Oh, this one. Pop, head pops up, pow. One more time. So you got dip, pop, pow.
Oh.
It's all right.
All right.
I don't hit them all. Here we go.
There we go.
One more time. One more. Okay. Now, Tom could do that with this mitt, but then he has to hold the hook opposite. Pow. It's tough to do, but it's something you're going to want to get used to for when we start holding suitcase pads with one hand and the mitt on the other side. But we'll get to that another time.
Here's how you can get the most out of your mitt work.
So one of the things that I want you to realize about holding focus mitts is that it's actually incredibly important for the mitt holder to be building their defense. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to a Muay Thai class or a mixed martial arts class, but they tend to be very boring. It's pretty much a partner thing, so I hold mitts for half the class while Tom punches them, then he holds mitts for half the class, and it just gets a little bit dreary. Unless you're thinking about this as a functional form of defense. So if Tom throws a right straight at my mitt, which typically I hold kind of out here next to my head, throw a right straight, again, good, I catch this straight, good, again, good, and I literally resist Tom's punch, and I try to stop it dead in the air, so he gets used to throwing something and generating some type of impact. Now, if I do the same exact thing in front of my face, I've essentially just defended a punch. So if Tom tries to, try to punch me in the face.
Oh, I will. I don't pass up these free opportunities too much.
Here we go. So right in the chin. Good, again. Good, again. One more time. Good, again. Good. So I block that thing right in front of my face. Sometimes you get a little fist blowback, a little of your own mitt hitting yourself in the face. But look, if you didn't slip the punch and your last means of stopping it is with your hand, well, you've just done a very good job of kind of averting a little bit of a crisis. So again, when you're working mitts, be thinking about stopping punches dead in midair. It strengthens your tricep, it strengthens all the tendons in your elbow, and it gets you used to being kind of like an impenetrable barrier when your hands are up in front of your face. So build this.
No matter what punch your partner is throwing, you're building your own defense to that punch by catching it. Catching each type of punch has a unique feel to it. They all require different positioning of your hand in order to catch them, and they also require different muscles for you to use to actually stop the punch itself. Training to catch each punch helps you build these muscles.
So if I ask for Tom's right hook, and I'm angling my mitt like so, again, one more time. That comes into play if I'm ever with my left hand down, or if I've thrown a kick, or if I'm shielding like this. Boom, I protect my own face much the same way. It's kind of like the windshield wiper effect. Same thing can be said for an uppercut. So Tom, throw an uppercut in the mitt. Pow, again. One more time. Good, now throw an uppercut at my face. Again. Good. So I stop that hand before it reaches up at my face. If I wanted to throw a cool little counter on this one, we'll do it slow motion one time. Tom right uppercuts me in the face. Pop, I catch that mitt. One more time, Tom. Pow, bow, and I come over the top with my own hook. So a little bit faster, you got, all right? So, bam, bam. You hit the guy before he actually even has the chance to pull that hand back to his face.
That wasn't supposed to be in the lesson at all, but you should remember it anyhow.
Okay, so one piece of equipment that I really think you should get, or you pretty much have to get, is a heavy bag. If you're gonna get one thing other than gloves, this would be it.
Now, not everyone has a Tom, but everyone can have a heavy bag.
For the punch that we're doing today, this is not the ideal surface to strike because it's flat. It goes straight up and down. Like I said, my uppercut, I want to be angled up at something. So you either need to hit somebody's mitt, or you need to hit an uppercut bag, or you just need to be better at punching into this thing. So when I strike this bag, I want to make sure I'm striking at the level of my chin. Tom does a technique known as the spit trick, where he wipes a disgusting line of spit at the level of his own chin. Therefore, he knows where to punch on this bag. I tend to wrap a piece of white tape around the bag wherever I want to kick, but it's up to you and your desired level of grossness.
This is one of those things that you don't want to overlook. If you start to get lazy or tired and you start hooking the wrong part of the bag, you develop the wrong muscle memory. So when it comes time to actually punch somebody in the face, you're used to punching lower, so you don't have the same type of power that you would if you had trained correctly. Pay attention to what you're striking and don't be lazy.
So when I'm striking this thing, I want to pop my shoulder and I want to strike through. So my palm is up. The bag is going to stop me before I get my arm completely straight, but I still want to be thinking about maybe punching the back side of the bag. So you really need to think follow through when you're striking this flat surface. And again, 45 degrees up, and then I pull the punch right back to my face. So shoulder pop, and then I got my uppercut popping in. Now, after I hit the uppercut, his head is up for a split second, so I want to throw my hook. So it looks like this. Pop, upper hook. Again, pop, upper hook. A little bit faster. Again. More time.
One more for good measure.
All right, one more. Ooh, that one was a good one too.
Yeah.
Now, that's the right uppercut and the left hook. Obviously, we also have the right shoulder pop, left uppercut, right straight. So now the left uppercut is kind of, this is not a full range strike. My jab is this long. This uppercut, I'm going to be a little bit closer. So you're not going to really have a long right straight. Be prepared to turn the punch over quickly to make that thing fit in there. So right shoulder pop, left uppercut, right straight. I immediately pull my left hand back to my face for the right straight. So pop up straight, pop up straight, shot, shot. One more.
Nice.
Okay? And that's the combo on the heavy bag. Get used to punching this thing. It makes you powerful.
So in conclusion, we covered some uppercut form. We covered the shoulder pop, which gives you power in your uppercut. You got two quick combos that are nasty and will really hurt people. You've been introduced to the concept of juggling heads. You got the benefits of partner work. You got some heavy bag work. That's good for a week on the striking. Good job.
And remember, fight smart.
Yeah.